Stories of homeowners opening their tax bills to find increases of 50, 80, even 100% sound like outliers. In reality, they're a predictable result of how local property taxes are structured and why they can move sharply even when nothing about the home itself has changed. At a basic level, property taxes are not set the way most people assume. They are not simply a fixed percentage applied to a home's purchase price. Instead, local governments determine how much revenue they need to fund schools, public safety, and other services. That total is then distributed across all taxable property based on assessed values. When those values shift especially quickly, the distribution changes and so do individual tax bills. That's where the large increases come from. In many areas, home values have risen dramatically over a short period of time. If assessments are updated to reflect those higher values, a homeowner's share of the overall tax burden can increase just as quickly. The percentage jump in the tax bill can look extreme, but it often reflects a recalibration after years of lagging assessments rather than a sudden doubling of the tax rate itself. There's also a second layer that can amplify the effect: local budgets. If a city, county, or school district increases spending, whether due to inflation, pension obligations, infrastructure needs, or population growth, the total amount of tax revenue required goes up. When that higher revenue target meets rising property values, the result can be a compounding effect. Higher values increase the share owed, and higher budgets increase the total to be collected. Legally, this is permitted because property taxation is governed at the state and local level, and in most jurisdictions, there is no strict cap on how much an individual tax bill can rise in a given year. Some states do impose limits through homestead exemptions, assessment caps, or levy limits, but those protections vary widely. In areas without strong caps, the system allows for large adjustments when values are reassessed or when budgets expand. That doesn't mean homeowners are without recourse. Assessments can typically be appealed, especially if they appear to exceed market value or are inconsistent with comparable properties. But appealing doesn't challenge the tax rate itself. It challenges the valuation. If the underlying market has truly moved upward, there may be limited room to reduce the bill. The more important question is what these increases do to communities over time. The immediate effect is financial pressure, particularly for longtime homeowners who bought at much lower prices and may not have incomes that reflect current market values. For retirees or fixed-income households, a sharp increase in property taxes can feel less like a recalibration and more like a forced decision point. Stay and absorb the cost or consider moving. At a broader level, sustained increases can change the character of neighborhoods. As carrying costs rise, higher income buyers become more dominant, and lower or middle income residents are gradually priced out. In that sense, property taxes can act as a quiet driver of displacement even in the absence of new development. There are also ripple effects for local economies. Higher property taxes can dampen consumer spending, influence housing demand, and alter how quickly homes turn over. At the same time, local governments may become more reliant on property taxes as a stable revenue source, especially when other forms of taxation fluctuate more with economic cycles. The tension ultimately is built into the system. Property taxes are designed to fund essential services in a way that scales with property values. But when those values move quickly, or when budgets expand at the same time, the impact on individual homeowners can feel abrupt and disproportionate. That's why these stories are becoming more common. It's not that the system has changed overnight, it's that the conditions feeding into it, rising home values, higher costs for municipalities, and uneven protections across states, are aligning in a way that makes the outcomes more visible, and for many homeowners, more difficult to absorb.